Okay, so we're just going to talk through the installation steps of installing a 4-in-1 Minerva electronic boiling water system. As with anything, any new product or installation, always take the instructions and give careful consideration to what's being advised in the manufacturer's instructions. With the Minerva electronic and the M-Box system, pay particular attention to checking the water pressure, the supply water pressure. The minimum it should be is 2 bar. And the maximum it should be is 4 bar. So the only way of checking the water pressure is by using a water pressure test gauge, similar to this. An easy place to connect the gauge to is like an outside tap connection, or you may need some sort of adapter to connect to a 15mm supply or whatever the size the pipe may be. So it's vital to check the water pressure. So on the installation, we have the M-Box, we have the electronic tap. So the tap comes in 2 versions. We've got the chrome Minerva Swan Neck Original. We've also got the stainless Monday Out type tap. Both works exactly the same. We've got a domestic hot and cold function, and we've got the electronic control. Obviously this one is not plugged in. We have what we call is the M-Box. So this is for ease of installation. We've got all the plumbing connections and pipe work. Then to the rear we have the power supply and the control for the tap to go into the rear. We also have the heater tank, which will connect to the M-Box once it's in position. So we have the hot connection, it just screws tight, and the cold as well. Okay. So what we need to consider now is with the tap, put the tap in position into the worktop or to the sink. You've got the length of the hoses, which will then dictate the position of the M-Box within the unit under the sink. Now the M-Box can either be installed vertically or horizontally in those two ways. You can't install it horizontally facing upwards. The pipes have got to drop down. So the way to fasten the M-Box into the unit, just unclip the M-Box from the bracket. Again, just bearing in mind the length of the hoses from the tap, and like I say, that will dictate where the M-Box will position, and you just secure the bracket inside the unit. The M-Box then fastens to the bracket, like so. And that's the M-Box secured to the bracket. We also have the filter. This is a brand new filter, just like a bayonet connection into the bottom of the M-Box. And that's the filter connected. So if you are installing vertically, you've got to have consideration with regards to the filter and having enough space underneath. Okay, now the tap connection, so the tap was in position. We have 3 connections, 3 hoses from the tap. So we've got domestic hot and cold, and you've got the special hose for dispensing cold filter and boiling water. So we'll do that connection first. It's a different size, so you shouldn't really get these the wrong way around. As you'll see, the connection is too small to go into these hot and cold connections. The only one it will go to is this special filter connection, special connection here, like so, push fit. The hoses are colour coded, so this is your domestic code into the M-Box like so, and you've got domestic hot. With the domestic hot connection, you could either run it from the M-Box by connecting to the M-Box, or you could connect this fitting to your domestic hot pipe, and then within the pack as supplied, we have a plug which plug off at the end box like so. Okay. We then have our domestic mains connection. So you would normally have a 15mm supply under the base unit. We have a nice chrome isolation fitting. So 15mm connection. There's your isolator. You've got a connection to that fitting, which just screws on, nice and tight. Then your mains connection is at this point on the end box. Again, just a nice push fit, nice and easy. And then we have our heater tank, which needs to connect to the end box. Again, you can't get these the wrong way around because the sizes dictate which fitting it will go to. So the larger connection to the blue. And the smaller connection to the red. We also have the pressure relief pipe connection, which will just squeeze on to that outlet from the end box there. Then we have a waste connector where you just secure the pressure relief pipe into the waste. A consideration here is the drop from leaving the end box to where the waste pipe should be no less than 12 centimetres. Okay, so do that for now. Just for these purposes, I'll take the filter off. So like I said, it's just nice and easy to unscrew. Okay, so that is all the plumbing connections. We now have the electrical connections to consider. So you will see from the tap, we have a control cable, okay, which will plug into the back of the end box, like so. So that's the tap connected. And then we have the mains connector. So the main is just a simple plug-in connector into the mains. If using for the first time, the box may come with a European plug and is supplied with a UK plug adapter, so it's just easy to swap over. On initial switch on, as per reading the instructions, it will ask you to indicate the water hardness in the region where the tap is installed, and you just have to select the right colour for the water quality, which will then dictate to the frequency of the filter changing. So whether it's 6 months, 9 months further down the line, the tap will indicate a different colour when a filter change is required. And to change the filter, when it's in position, it's just a quick fader connection. You don't even have to isolate the water at the isolation point, it will just shut off itself. So that is a Minerva electronic installation.